What happens when we die? Is there an afterlife? Do we go to heaven? Or even worse, hell? Can we communicate with the dead? And if we can, should we? Let's find out.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 29 of Pedro Paranormal, as always. I'm here with my longtime friend, co-host Carlos, and I'm your host, Tony.
What's up?
All
right.
We apologize if we're a little low on energy right now. It's just we decided to film. We decided to film in kind of morning. It's not really morning anymore, but you know, earlier than usual. So
right.
But anyways, welcome to episode 29. We're gonna be discussing Frankenstein today. You know, you can see our guest right here, Frankie. Oh, you know what? Before we start, I do want to thank your brother Richie.
Yes.
For this beautiful creation. You know,
it's very nice. He's very creative, and he uses art skills and his carpentry skills to cut that. It
came out awesome. And you know what? I've had this already now for I think like 5 or 6 years, and you know we usually use it for our Halloween decorations outside, and you know it sits in the sun all day and it still looks perfect. So thank you, Richie.
Yes, he's very meticulous. He likes to paint stuff over, and since he's worked in the carpentry division in LA, I think he knows what type of lacquers or spray protectants to put on it. So yeah, that's why it's lasted so long. That fine attention to detail.
Yeah, the detail in it too. But anyways, Carlos, so how have you been? I know you've been busy.
Good.
I know you've been busy watching the Dodgers.
Yes, I've been busy watching the Dodgers, and they've been doing pretty well right now. But most importantly, I went back to work, and past 2 weeks, I've just been like dead tired right now. It's some days we have overtime, and we're working constantly on Saturdays too. So I'm like, oh man, I want room for San Pedro Paranormal.
it's just getting used to it, huh? Getting used to getting back into the groove.
Yeah. So far, I kind of I have all my energy back now from all the walking at work and hunching over and removing parts from cars, but now I have to just manage my schedule, and I'll be all right.
Good.
Which I think I'm doing okay.
That's good. All right. So, Frankenstein.
Yes.
Frankenstein. You know, when's the first time you watched a Frankenstein movie? How old were you? Do you remember?
Oh man, you know what? I don't even think I've seen Frankenstein, the original 1930s, ever at all.
Until now?
Until just now. Yeah. Well, you know, you see parts in like pop culture. You see it like on the 1980s media. I think a couple of new wave songs had "It's alive, it's alive," and they have it in the videos. And the Munsters was another thing I used to watch religiously. The Munsters. I used to love that show. You know, and but this is the first time I sat down and watched the 1930s Frankenstein from finish to end.
Yeah. And
then after that, I watched The Bride of Frankenstein from beginning to end too. So. Please don't hurt me if I mix both movies together. I start putting data and facts from one to the other and all that. So. And
you know what? I think I watched the original Frankenstein when I must have been like, I want to say like 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember watching it, and I think I was at a family member's house, and I was kind of like, I would pay attention for like 5 minutes, and I get bored, and then leaving and then come back, but. One of the scene that I remember the most, like, you know, as a child, was the scene where Frankenstein is with the blind guy, with the blind man, and then he's like he's serving him. I'm laughing because I'm remembering of the young Frankenstein. So that whole scene was hilarious. But
you're right.
Yeah,
another great movie, by the way.
Yeah, so that's a part of the film that I remember as a child because it was a very touching moment of the film. Although, like, after when I was a teenager and watched Young Frankenstein, it kind of ruined that whole like emotional moment. but I remember it, and I mean it was okay, and if you watch it, I think it's more for adults because you know, just as a kid, I think it just kind of like, hey, I'd rather watch like like E.T. or something.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Um,
Little more up to date to your standards back then, and as a child.
And I think also because the movie's kind of old, right? It's from the 1930s. So
right, different pace, different style of art direction, and filming.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, what did you think about the film? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it now?
It was awesome. I mean, you know me, I'm a fogey. I love those old black and white movies that are classics, like the old Universals. And to me, this and the second one, the Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein, are like the best, I think, of the monster series from back then. The Mummy is also pretty good, but that's just me. That's just my style.
Yeah. So
Like.
So would you say that Frankenstein is your favorite so far?
Yes, that creature, the monster, had like the not only the scariness to it, like he was very horror-like, but also he had a very emotional state to him that you can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in the second movie with the Bride of Frankenstein. I mean, there's so many parts in that movie that at first I was watching, I was like, whoa, this is throwing me out. This is a little weird. Yeah. And it became very fantasy-like on Bride of Frankenstein in the beginning. But then after a while, everything settles in. He goes and visits his new friend, the blind man who plays the violin. And well, we can talk about this later, or you want to?
Yeah. Well, let's just jump into it. So
okay.
What was your favorite scene on the original Frankenstein?
The original Frankenstein, I pretty much loved all the scenes. They were pretty great. Frankenstein's in the dungeon when he's being kept because he's a slave to. It wasn't his name's not Victor in the movies. I think it's Henry or so. Frankenstein, forget what it's Harry. I guess it's Fritz instead of Igor. His name's Fritz, and he keeps tormenting Frankenstein. And Frankenstein just one day he just can't take enough of it. So this is off scene where Frankenstein and somebody else, you hear her scream, ah! And they go down and they go to Frankenstein's little prison area, his dungeon, and they open it up and he's gone and Fritz is hanging like, the Frankenstein's there and he hangs Fritz, the Igor-looking guy, because he's just tired of his tormentor and he decides to take his life.
So where did the character of Igor come then? I always thought it was Igor.
No, his name's Fritz in this movie. Yeah, Fritz.
Was it maybe Young Frankenstein? No, I don't know. I don't know.
That was Igor because
oh yeah, that's right. You know, I was searching different films because how many films did you find of Frankenstein online?
Well, I just saw the original ones and the best black and white Frankenstein comedy of all time. We just talked about it.
Young Frankenstein.
And of course the other two that I just mentioned. But I didn't have much research to go into it. But I did want to watch Mary Shelley's just to have some sort of comparison because that is the original story, and they made a movie out of it. Yeah. But I didn't have enough time for that.
Yeah, you know what? I did find something called Frankenstein's Curse. if you have time, check it out. It's on YouTube.
Sure.
And that one's it was like a short a skit they did on SNL. It was hilarious. But yeah, you know what I found out because I tried to do some research on the whole original Frankenstein, and
yeah,
what I found out was that I guess the film changed a lot of what really happens in the book, right? Have you ever read the book?
No, I want to. I want to get it on audio or something, just so when I'm at work or somewhere, I'll listen to it. But yes, there are a lot of differences, especially in the book. Supposedly, it's a story within a story within a story within a story or so, right? And the main monster, which is Frankenstein's monster in this case, the difference between him and in the movie is that in the movie he just seeks revenge against Frankenstein's Dr. Ivan Frankenstein, where in the book, he wants revenge against all humanity or the villagers or whoever's around there because they see him as an outcast, they see him as a monster, something that cannot be accepted in their ways, in their culture.
Yeah.
That's one of the things.
Yeah. You know what I found really interesting was that Mary Shelley was the book was written when in the 1800s, right?
Right, long time ago, yeah.
Oh. And sorry about that. My phone. I forgot to turn off my phone. Yeah. I mean, according to what I saw online, I don't know if this is true, but they had Mary Shelley, I guess during the time before she wrote the book, there was a lot of changes in like science, I guess, right? Where there were people, doctors, finding out that that certain body parts, or that bodies like work with electricity or something, right? Did you watch that? Where they were doing a lot of experiments with electricity and dead bodies. They would get like animal parts or human parts, and would shock them, and they would see like movement. So they figured, maybe we could bring someone back with electricity. And that's kind of like the whole basis of Mary Shelley's, like where she got the idea from to write this book, which is pretty cool.
So there were a lot of advances back then too, with electrodes and working with the nervous system, and you'd running current, and like you said, they would just move body parts, and experimenting with the brain.
I believe Mary Shelley's, one of her uncles used to be part of like this group of I don't want to say scientists, but they would go and watch these experiments happen, like, 'cause they would do them in public, groups of people, but they would get I guess criminals, like if you were a criminal and they hung you or whatever, they had the right to take your body and do experiments on it, which is crazy. So I think what happened in one instance, one of the stories was that I guess this one guy got hung, and they took his body right away to where they were doing these meetings, and they started like shocking it and doing all these things, and I guess they started seeing that his hands started moving, and then one of his eyes opened, and one of the people in the audience actually had a heart attack and died because he was so shocked that people actually believed that they were going to bring the dead back.
Right. So, now we would watch something like that and be like, oh, it's just science.
Yeah. Now we kind of understand it.
The brains, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's crazy how they would do these things, And I know back then they would do all kinds of crazy stuff, right? They would also use the bodies to do, to study the inside of the human body. So they take you and cut you up and just although they still do that now, right?
Yeah, and now we use lab mice and certain animals to do that.
Yeah.
Before that, it was rabbits and monkeys, and before that, it was humans in science, where we would just do these experiments on people.
Yeah.
It's messed up, but it kind of changes a lot of what science is about.
I mean, that's how things advance.
Yeah.
But
back then, yes.
And the cool thing is, now we have all those machines that could actually scan through every part of your body, so they could actually get a complete map of the inside of your body without having to cut you up. So, yeah. So that go ahead.
Have you ever been in one of those before?
Yeah. I went into one for they did some kind of a chest scan or something.
Yeah, when I fell off my bike and broke my collarbone, they put me in there. They were very gently put me in there because I was like, and they just did a quick scan, and I was in there for quite a while. But when you go back to the doctor's office and you see your whole skeletal structure, it's just amazing how they can rotate on the monitor and just look around your whole skeletal, nervous system, everything, your organs, and you're like, well, this is pretty amazing stuff here.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
They don't have to cut you open anymore to find out.
Yeah. So it's cool that I guess that's where the whole idea of the Frankenstein, the monster came along, of doing these things. But did you watch any of those videos of there was some other scientists that were doing a few the experiments on animals, where they would I saw this video on YouTube. I'll probably put a little picture right here while we're talking, but they have these videos where they would get these dogs that were still alive, and they would drain their blood out of their body, and then they would use a timer to see, to give it a minute to let the body die for a minute or two, and then they would use these machines that would pump blood back into the body, and they would bring the animal back to life. I don't know what the point of that was, but
I remember seeing this years ago when I was younger, and the name of the doctor is Vladimir Petrovich Demikov. And he was a Soviet scientist and organ transplantation pioneer who performed several transplants in the 1940s and 1950s, including the transplantation of a heart into an animal a heart-lung replacement in another animal. He was also well known for his dog head transplants, which he conducted during the 1950s, resulting in 2-headed dogs. That is nuts.
Yeah. If you watch these videos, they're kind of a little what do you call it, hard to watch, because they stick these things, and then you see all the blood drain out, and then you see these machines, and then they'll start poking the dog's eye to make sure he's dead. He's dead. And then once they
and
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Continue, because I'm sorry, I was gonna cut you off.
And then once the dog is dead for a few minutes, start up the machine, pump all the blood back in, and then you start seeing the vitals start coming back, and then they'll still continue to poke the dog's eye until he starts blinking. So
this is so horrible.
Yeah, and it was crazy. It was crazy. But
Vladimir, crazy Vladimir.
Yeah, and I did see. I think I did see the one you're talking about where they did like the two-headed dog. I just couldn't find that online again. I saw that a couple years ago. Wow.
Same here. And of course, this scientist was pretty popular, and he had fans. And one of his fans was Robert Joseph White, a neurosurgeon. And he is the one that actually did transplants on monkeys. He did head transplants. So he would switch out the heads. He would cut the one head off and put it on another monkey and reverse it. And yeah, you know how that goes. And that you can see on YouTube. That's pretty.
Also, they still have the video.
Huh?
They still have the video of that?
I think so. Yeah, I think I came across it, but I didn't have a chance to watch it.
Oh, okay.
But it should be on there. If we find them, we'll link them in the description down below.
Yeah, but you know what? I also know that the Nazis used to do experiments too, right? On people, on the Jews and stuff. They would like, I forgot what they would do. They would, I think if I'm not mistaken, I remember they would, in one occasion, they removed like the breast of a woman and put them on a man and see like what would happen. So some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
but,
it's nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, besides the worst thing was killing all those innocent people. Sometimes besides extracting the gold from their bodies, they sometimes would use. And I was told this in school, but I'm not sure how truthful it is. I have to look it up. But they would use the human skin and make certain things out of it. In some cases, it would make like lampshades or bags or whatever it would be.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much truth is into that, but I'm sure there's a lot more wicked stuff that they did.
Yeah, there's some crazy ass people out there. But
especially the Nazis.
Yeah. But anyways, getting back to Frankenstein, you know what? I remember watching Young Frankenstein.
And this movie.
Yeah. And you know what? It actually, I mean, at least for me, he kept it pretty very like similar to the original, to the 1930s Frankenstein.
Well, from what I read and did some light research on Young Frankenstein, is that this could have easily been the third movie of the Universal franchise. But I'm not sure who made it. I don't know if it was Universal or a different company.
Yeah.
But the storyline is actually pretty good, and the actor Gene Wilder is just amazing.
Oh yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah, he was awesome.
And you know what? I think when I watched this movie, I actually believed it was an old movie because he did do it in black and white. So when I saw it the first time, I thought it was like an old school movie. But great film.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to the original Frankenstein movie from the 1930s, this was considered to be a horror movie, but some people also classify it as one of the very first sci-fi movies. Very gothic, very monster-like, but also very sci-fi-ish because you have all of these cool experimental shots, toys, and everything in the laboratory. And the way they bring it back to life is very sci-fi-like. It's in the same category as you would kind of like put the original Alien movie into sci-fi horror.
Oh, okay. So this was like the aliens of back then.
Like the Alien, yeah.
Alien.
Yeah. and Bride of Frankenstein was more like aliens, right?
Aliens.
There's a lot of
yeah, because there was more than one.
There's more action. Yeah.
More than one. Hey, why didn't they ever make like a baby Frankenstein or something?
Because they know what they're doing.
Imagine. No, but imagine a third one like that where they make a baby, make a baby Frankenstein, and the baby's like a real monster that kills people and stuff. You know, like Bride of Hey, they did Chucky, Bride of Chucky, Baby of Seed of Chucky. Why not Seed of Frankenstein?
Oh my god.
It's too early.
This is what happens when we record during the day. It's better at night.
Yeah. But anyways, you know what, guys? I'm gonna take a little. We're gonna take a little break right here because I actually filmed something separately that we want to start incorporating into the episodes. We want to start putting something in the middle of the episodes to kind of like change it up a little. And what you guys are about to watch is me doing EVP session here in studio. So I do an EVP session here, and I actually caught something. So we're gonna go ahead and play it right now, and see what you guys think. Leave a comment below, and is it fact or fiction?
Yeah.
But anyways,
cool.
check out this this next clip.
Awesome.
All right. Well, if you guys are watching this, that means that you're watching the short part of the episode, and hopefully you are, because if you are, that means that I actually captured something on this little device here. So let's go ahead and start. Turn on the device and start asking questions and see if we could capture something. Is there a message you guys would like me to give to Wayne Poe, the director of this film? Can you touch this little cylinder in front of me again to make it light up? Whoa. Can you tell me your name? Ernie. Hi, Ernie. How are you? How old are you, Ernie? Ernie, are you a child or a grown-up? Ernie, can you do that again? Can you make that light turn on again? Ernie, are you still here? Alright guys, well thank you for any spirits that came through to communicate with me. Thank you very much. I hope you're at peace. I'm going to have to end the conversation here because I'm going to start filming our 29th episode of San Pedro Paranormal. Goodbye guys. Bye Ernie. Alright guys, well that was pretty crazy. Didn't get very much there, just at the end right there with that spirit that seemed like it said Ernie. And he did, as you can see, this little sensor light won't turn on unless you touch it. So anyways guys, let's get back to episode 29, and I hope you guys enjoy this little piece that we added to to this the para-short part of this video. But anyways, back to myself and Carlos. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that that EVP. I thought it was pretty
awesome.
crazy because I was telling Carlos previous to this that right before I started recording the session, when I turned on the little scanner, the PSB7, the spirit box they call it, I started getting answers right away. Like it was saying what up, hi, hello, and all this stuff. And so there's a lot of spirits here, dude. I don't know if it's because of all the stuff I've been accumulating here. I have a lot of like older things that I like, like furniture, and like I have this old piano. I have I have in front of me. I have a big like a record player, like a whole like little system that belonged to a person that I knew that passed away. And a lot of the films that I bought collections are from people that have passed away. So I don't know if and the Ouija boards, the Ouija board. So I don't know if maybe some of that energy still here, with the stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You can have all this energy around, and all four walls, and next thing you know, they can have a big portal open up in the middle of the garage.
I know. Imagine that'd be cool. Yeah. So I mean, it's pretty crazy. So I am gonna start doing that from now on. I'm gonna try to do EVPs every day and see if I because the thing is, to capture EVPs, it's like one out of every 20 sessions you'll get something. So I'm gonna be doing them. Try to do them regularly, and that way by the time we film, I could have something to insert, in the middle of the episodes. But you know what? Before we get back to Frankenstein, there is one thing I want to mention. Remember our last guest, Damien Franco?
Yes.
Well, anyways, I was kind of, she kind of left me thinking, like, I wonder if the people that used to live there before after her, ever experienced anything. So I started asking around. I wanted to find out, like, what happened. Is it really haunted and all this stuff. So I ended up finding a family that lived there not too long ago. And I would see them. I never really talked to them. But I found a family that lived there. And I ended up asking if anything ever happened. And they did tell me that they did they would hear like somebody running through the house. The same thing that Damien experienced. They would hear somebody running around. They would hear the cabinets slamming and stuff. But the thing is, that family is very religious, so they don't believe in all that stuff. But they do. I mean, they did say they experienced some of the stuff, but and they want to remain anonymous. They don't care about this kind of stuff. Okay. But still, I mean, I thought when they told me that, I was like, oh crap! Like then it's it's real. It really happened.
Right.
So I did message. I messaged Damien, and she's like, yeah, man. I've talked to other people. She's seen other people that live there, and they've told her too. Yeah, your place is haunted and stuff. So it's crazy.
Yeah, it is nuts. I think someone left a message in one of our comments that they want to have more ghost stories, and it's kind of nice that we're having this information out right now, and maybe we'll acquire more of these little stories that happen in that house and in other places. Yeah,
and you know what, guys, I am gonna start doing like we're gonna start releasing episodes that are gonna be like almost like sequels, I guess, or parts of the same kind of thing, where it's gonna be San Pedro hauntings. We already did of course we did the San Pedro haunting with the Jackie Hernandez story, and then we did San Pedro hauntings with Damien Franco. So I want to continue that. Do the San Pedro hauntings 2, San Pedro hauntings 3, and if anybody watching this that lives here in town in San Pedro, if you have a story, go ahead and leave a comment, or you can message us on the Facebook page, and we could get your story here. You could tell your story here, like we'll record it and then insert it to one of the episodes. So I think that's pretty cool, because a lot of people contacted me. They're like, that's pretty cool. We want more stories. That's so it'll become part of the show. But anyways, getting back to Frankenstein, Frankie.
Yeah. Frankie.
Yeah. So
before we go, I want to mention also that I'm looking at this book on Amazon right now, and the book is called Haunted San Pedro. It's part of the Haunted America series. It's on paperback, and right now it's $8.79. And the reviews are kind of mixed, but they're mostly good, 4 out of 5 stars. So I'm thinking about picking it up for $8.78. It's called Haunted San Pedro, and this book supposedly has a lot of sites in the San Pedro area, but I think we know the majority of them. But just to have it and to use it as some light reference, it would be kind of nice.
Yeah, because you know what? Maybe in the book there's certain things that have happened that people are experiencing now, and they've never read the book, and we could kind of like interlace it, and that way there's more. It's more concrete that something's actually there.
Yeah, it could be our Tobin Spirit Guide for San Pedro.
yeah. So this, Carlito, you said you watched the Bride of Frankenstein, right? I never watched
The Bride of Frankenstein. Yes.
I mean, I do know the story because I've heard it, and I know they've made a few like spoofs on certain TV shows of the Bride of Frankenstein. But I mean, the whole Bride of Frankenstein thing, was it? Who made her? Was it Frankenstein?
Well, if you're referring to Dr. Frankenstein, yes. And he is forced to actually make her because there was another scientist, I guess another one of his doctors from his university or his colleague, forced him to make this bride because this evil guy used the monster Frankenstein's monster to kidnap Dr. Frankenstein's wife.
Okay.
Held her captive somewhere remotely while Dr. Frankenstein was forced to create this new bride for him. And this new bride, they had a scene where they had the heart and they put it in a jar because they're going to use this heart from a dead cadaver to put it into the monster, but it was too weak and too frail. I just like the old effects. It was in saline, and you see the little light bulbs go bloop, 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 and it starts getting weaker, and they put more saline. Add more saline or selenium. They put it in there. It starts going stronger, then it dies. Oh no, we need a new heart. So they get their Igor. I call them Fritz or Igor number 2. They send him out to get a young woman's heart, and that's kind of like the most violent scene that is done remotely.
So wait a second.
Off cut.
So do they kill someone to get a heart?
Yes, they kill someone to get a heart on this one, but they don't show. There's no blood.
Yeah, but still,
there's no scene. It's just like a hard cut. Yeah. The young woman's walking through the city at night, and in Igor number 2, he's like behind an alleyway or the dark wall, and he just comes out and it's cut. So that's the woman's heart right there that's being used to create Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. When I first started watching it from beginning, it's right immediately takes place right after the original movie.
Okay, so it's like a real sequel, like right away.
Yes, it's pretty cool. Of course, time goes by, but in this case, Frankenstein is just what is it? He's just on his own. He doesn't want to do anything with Dr. Frankenstein, which is something that he just wants to go out and find friends. Because in this movie, he comes across the blind man in his cabin. The blind man is a very old man that plays the fiddle, and that's what attracts Frankenstein to his cabin. As soon as he comes to his door, the blind man starts talking to him, and he now knows that Frankenstein can't talk, and the blind man can't see, so they become best friends. Oh my God, it's been so long, he says. I've been so lonely. To be alone is not a good thing. You need friends. And that's where Frankenstein starts learning how to talk. Starts learning the word friends, starts shaking hands.
Oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
Am I confusing the movie? So when he meets the blind guy, isn't that from part 1?
No, that's part 2.
So you know what? I might have never seen part 1 then.
No? Okay. Well, you saw the better of the two. It is a little weirder, a little more fantasy-like, and but it's a good scene. He comes into the cabin. The blind man feeds him. He teaches them bread, what bread is, how it tastes, what wine is, how that tastes, and from there, Frankenstein learns bread. He learns drink, and he learns good. So he's always good. And the funny part is, the blind man brings out a cigar and he lights it, and Frankie's like, oh no, he's scared of fire, right? So he's going like this. So no, my friend, this is good. This is a cigar. He starts smoking it. It's good. And then
wait a second. So is the reason he's scared of fire because of part 1?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now
the reason why he's scared of, I think they explained it in part 1 why he's afraid of fire, vaguely. And it's because he was born into darkness, and he was kept in a dungeon while he recuperated, I guess, until he all his scars and everything healed.
Okay.
And so he's very light sensitive.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So back to the blind man giving him a cigar. Frankenstein grabs the cigar, and he's like, good. And it's funny because he smokes it and he's just like sitting there for like 2 seconds. And I'm like, what did the blind man put in the cigar? Is it a blunt? It's like, it's a funny scene because after this scene, of course, the fire, he gets scared and he's like, no, the blind man tells him, fire is good, my friend. Fire is good. But it could be, there are a lot of things, and there's a lot of things that could be good and bad. And he's like, fire, bad, fire, good. But then he sees the violin, he picks it up, and he gives it to the old man. Good. And he gives it to him, he goes, you play. He doesn't say you play, but he goes, good. And the old man sits down, Frankenstein sits down, and the old man starts playing the violin. And then Frankenstein is just sitting there, and he's like doing this whole thing, like stomping his foot. And I thought it was hilarious. It's just like
so young Frankenstein makes fun of part 2 then, right?
I guess they get both of them. They get
like a mixture. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's
cool. It's a great movie. It's the second one. It's not as much sci-fi except for the ending when they bring back the bride, but it's more fantasy-like. This new doctor is showing him what he's achieved. He tells Dr. Frankenstein, "This is what I've achieved in my work and my studies," and he brings out these long, tall jars, and they're covered with a cloth. He has about 6 or 7 of them, and he just removes the cloth to reveal inside these little jars are tiny little people. And one of them is a king, the other one is a princess, the other one's a ballerina, and different characters all around. And it's funny because the little king, he gets on his throne and he rips through the top because it's covered with like paper. So he rips through the top and he sees the queen or the princess on the other side of the jar. And he jumps up and he comes out and he starts running outside on the table. And he goes to the glass jar and he starts knocking on the glass to get to the princess because he has lust for her. So he's like knocking on it. So the evil doctor just grabs him and puts him back into the jar, bloop, and then puts the tea with the plate on top and covers him. So it's that part I was like,
I gotta check out this movie because it sounds really cool now.
It's a trip. It threw me off. I'm like, what is this? What is this? Sci-fi? It's like at first I was like, this is like the beginning part's like, okay, this is taking right after Frankenstein. I'm like, that's like a fairy tale. Weird. It's like a weirdo movie. And then he goes into the cabin and there he becomes friends with somebody. And then at the end, it goes back into a Dracula film again. Frankenstein film.
Dracula film? I was going to say, what? I was going to say, what a twist.
Dracula Stein.
And you know what? That's crazy, dude, because I don't remember any of that. You know what? Maybe we just went through the Mandela effect.
No, we're just getting old. This is what happens to your neurons.
Because I don't remember it. That's crazy. But anyways, yeah.
So anyways, at the end of the movie, finally the Dr. Frankenstein's forced to create the bride. With the help of the evil doctor, he gets all these body parts, sends her up with the electrodes, the kites. She's shocked, brought back to life, and original monster Frankenstein comes and he sees her and he's like, ooh. They unbandage her, and she has the crazy hairdo and the dressing. She looks pretty cool. I like the way she's dressed, her makeup and everything, and bandages. But I like her movements even more. She's like
all twitchy.
Like all twitchy. Like, this is so cool. I like this.
Oh, and dude, I'm gonna watch that movie today.
Yeah. And the sad part about this movie is
don't tell me. No spoilers.
Okay, I don't want to ruin it then. Okay, so
no, go. You can tell what you're gonna say. Just don't tell me the ending. Just don't tell me the ending.
This movie's good. I don't want to ruin it. I'm giving you a little.
Because you know what, Carlitos? I think there's a lot of like even my daughters, newer generations that have never watched this.
Yeah, I think they should.
It sounds like a great film.
I say watch it first and see if we can edit anything out. But there's no violence. There's no blood or anything like that.
Yeah. It kind of leaves it more to the imagination, right?
Yes, this movie has a way more imagination than the first one. It's fairy tale. It's sci-fi. Very, very deep movie, especially with Frankenstein's monster. He just wants to be part of society. He has a childlike mind. Things happen to him because of that, and he seeks revenge. And yes, watch it. Recommend it.
I think after people watch this episode, a lot of people are gonna go and watch Frankenstein 2, the Bride of Frankenstein, because I'm really intrigued now.
Yes.
You know what? I'm surprised they never made. You know how they remake everything now. Mm-hmm. Why they haven't remade a Frankenstein film? I know they made a few, but why they haven't made one especially because technology is so advanced now, where they bring Frankenstein back with like a cyborg guy and like like metal legs.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of oh, sorry, Carlos. That's kind of like the new version of Frankenstein, right? Like that's today's Frankenstein is robotics
right.
and stuff.
Well, maybe like we were talking about earlier, it's just we just wouldn't feel that it would be scary for us. We'll be more intrigued by it, like, oh yeah, you're putting cyborg parts on this Frankenstein. That's more like, oh, it's gonna help humanity with or people with disabilities and all that. Maybe that's a good thing about it. I don't know. I'm just
that's true.
Talking on my bum right now.
That's true. And you know what I think? Go ahead.
Back to Frankenstein movies. The coolest one one of my personal favorite ones, besides these original ones, is Frankenstein from the Van Helsing movie.
Oh yeah,
and
right.
I love that Frankenstein.
Right.
That Frankenstein is designed very well. He has all these cool scars coloring. He's dressed like in this raggedy old like hoodie thing, but he has these old tech parts, like a circle with a jewel and electricity flowing here, and the back of his head has this awesome energy, kind of like that crystal ball you have in the back of that I forget what it's called, but it's back here. And this, not only that, this Frankenstein is very like philosophical, and he asks all these hard questions and he gives all these cool answers to Van Helsing. And he's also kind of semi-religious too, because he's battling the Dracula's babies, and he just says that as I wander through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, and he starts hacking and slashing or whatever, just trying to beat off the animals, the villains.
Yeah, that was a great movie. Yeah. But he kind of was like a mixture of Frankenstein with Iron Man.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's the way of putting it. Yeah, low tech Iron Man.
Low tech Iron Man. But you know what? Yeah, I did watch. They did did a remake like around the time when the Tom Cruise film came out, The Mummy and all that. They took one out called I, Frankenstein. Did you watch that, or did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah, so it was like the newer version of it. No, it was no good. It was no good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is he hooked up to a cloud service like iCloud or something?
He walked around with an iPad. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, now with the with all the stuff they can do now, I mean, it's kind of like we're living, from what we were talking at the beginning of the episode, where they were doing these experiments with electricity, and or that doctor that would change it, like the heart transplants on animals and putting heads together. It's crazy because we're at that point now where all that's possible,
Mm-hmm.
Where they've even done, I don't know if you saw that one they did, Carlos, where they did a face transplant, where they took the face off someone and put it on someone else.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's just not drug lords that are doing that. It's they're doing it on a regular basis now.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I mean, they could do, and I know that's probably going to be an episode we're going to do in the future about the whole where they do what do they call that when they steal your body parts? It's
oh yeah,
because that's a real thing. Where they actually kidnap people and to take their organs. That happens a lot in Mexico, where like children will disappear. Like somebody will kidnap them, and like a few hours later or the next day they'll find the body like emptied out. So definitely gonna do an episode on that.
Yeah, we can use that for our next not so paranormal episode.
Not so paranormal, yeah.
Yeah, I can do it for maybe like in a month or two from now.
Future episode.
Future.
Yeah, but is there anything else you wanted to mention, Carlos, before we end this Frankenstein episode?
Yeah, I'm still working on the para shorts, but I just didn't have a chance, and I'm probably gonna scrap the video. I went over and I tried to edit it as much as I could, but I just did not like it, so I'm gonna redo that. I'm gonna invest some time. I'm gonna invest some money on that book, and maybe try to find some more information on San Pedro's history. Talk to a couple of friends and see if they have any ghost stories.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think that's what we're gonna be our main focus right now. Trying to get as many San Pedro haunting stories as we can, and then slowly just release them. Probably make because we do want to. I've said this a few times already. Want to do a special Halloween episode. So maybe revisit the San Pedro. Huh? The what?
No, I'm sorry. What am I going to dress up as? That's what I was thinking.
Frankenstein.
Yeah. Bullshit.
Yeah. But any shout outs or anything you want to plug, Carlos?
I did, but I forgot. Like to make a shout out to San Pedro Paranormal. Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. Like follow us. Facebook, Instagram, all the good stuff. Share. And also, quick shout out again to Richie, your brother, for the Frankie. Yeah,
shout out to my brother Richie. I also want to probably get a couple of people in the show when we have a chance and this and we're allowed to. Is I want to get my cousins Ivan and Armando in. Ivan is very knowledgeable. He helped me out a little bit on this Frankenstein movie, telling me how it's very fantasy like, and he has a lot of knowledge on how these films are made and written and how they were shot. So I want to get him on the show and talk and put him on a segment probably about movie information.
Yeah, like a movie.
We'll let him pick a couple of horror movies and we can talk about them and he'll break them down for us.
Put his input.
Yeah, his input and his knowledge. He's very knowledgeable, and also get his brother in here because his brother is also an artist, just like Richie. And maybe we could get him to draw a few things for us.
Yeah. And also shout out again to Damien Franco. Thank you very much for doing that that guest episode last week.
Yes.
But I think that's it, Carlos. I mean, do you have any last words?
Oh, that sounds bad.
You're gonna be like in the movie Scream. I'll be right back. I told you.
Shadow.
All right, guys. Well, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. And
thank you.
Like I said, leave any comments if you've experienced any hauntings here and you live in town, even if it's like the neighboring towns, right? Leave a comment or contact us through Facebook, and we could share your story here on on Google Duo or Zoom and stuff.
Yeah, or anywhere, as long as the story is captivating or whatever it is. It's like if something you've heard is experienced and you think it's frightening or interesting, just send it over and we'll be happy to share.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.